Alright, my friend, it's finally your turn. Sorry it's taken so long. It takes a lot of energy and just a lot of organizing to get these done. So I appreciate that you waited, and I hope this helps in some way. Now, I'm pretty sure you didn't really specify a topic that you wanted to really focus on. I think it was just whatever comes up. But if you just want to have something in mind, or I mean, maybe you have nothing in mind, that's cool. But if something is on your mind that you can apply to what I'm talking about, then if it seems to make sense, then it will make, like, then that's the trajectory, if you get me. If it feels like I'm talking about something that's been on your mind, then that's probably what it is. If I'm just talking about random stuff that seems to make no sense at all, then it is what it is, and it may come to pass. Obviously, I'm just telling you what I see. The cards don't lie in my experience. I'm sure in some way, shape or form it'll come to pass. But anyway, we're going to look at a general reading of where you're at right now. I'm just going to pick up what's going on for you right now in lots of different facets of your life. And then, oops, sorry. It's so weird how it does that. And then we'll break it down month by month, beginning this month, seeing as though it's still so early in the month, and ending at March next year. Okay. If after the reading you have any questions, concerns, anything you want me to elaborate on, please feel free to message me, and we'll look at it further. It's not a problem. Any feedback's appreciated. Okay, so I'm going to begin just giving these guys a little shuffle. But I will begin with these guys just to get an archetypal kind of sense of where you're at overall right now, what's going on for you energetically right now, just to give me some kind of theme to begin working with. So let's have a look here. If there's any noises or intrusion, it's the dog. He's just here too. Okay, let's have a look. What's going on for you right now? What's going on for you right now? What is going on for you right now? What is going on for you overall right now? What are we looking at for you right now? Overall. Hey, there we go. Chariot. Yeah, okay, so we've got the Chariot, which means that there's some issue that you are pressing ahead with, or you're inspired to press ahead with. It can sometimes feel as though this is a competitive issue, or something that you are concerned about in terms of something that relates in some way to feeling as though you're competing for something. It could be actually like an internal struggle that you're working with here, and that you're kind of like triumphant, keen to somehow triumph in. But it does feel as though whatever this is at the moment that we're looking at, you're being recognized in some way. It could be in the workplace, because it does have this aura of competition, so you may actually win out against somebody, but you've used your instincts, your intuition to get to this point. You deserve where you are. and it does involve quite a lot of activity, quite a lot of progress, and yeah, you are being recognized for initiating something and for following through with something, for moving ahead with something. I might just add to this one. See if I can clarify that a little bit. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, so justice. You have actually worked quite hard to get somewhere with something on some endeavor, and you are being recognized, and justly so. It also suggests that whatever it is that you have been working on, I did kind of mention that it feels as though there's been like an internal kind of struggle for you around this, or an internal dialogue going on with you with this. And it does feel as though you've had to actually implement quite a lot of balance throughout all areas of your life to make this come to be for you, to make this kind of manifest, come to fruition, and so that you can kind of feel triumphant in this sense. So yeah, the Justice and the Chariot. So some kind of like implementation of balance, recognition for the work that you've done, and some kind of like internal can you go away? Go away. Sorry, it's the dog. Go away. Go away. Some kind of internal dialogue, internal struggle that's been going on here. It may have felt as though actually you were kind of working at odds against something, and you had to get something under control in order for you to be successful, or in order for you to work in the way that you wanted this to work. It's like you had to rein in certain areas of your life, and that's where you've created the balance in your life. Okay, so I'm just going to pop these aside. That's sort of giving us giving me an overall sense of, and an overall feeling of what this reading may entail. It's kind of just a prompt for me. Okay, so let's get on to something more detailed here. Certainly, if this recognition hasn't come to you yet, it is coming. And I feel as though it is recognition from your peers, from your colleagues, from your peers, because you are actually working quite hard to implement this balance, to get things under control, and to create some kind of order for the benefit of everybody. Though it's not just for your benefit, like you're trying to do this in order to have a positive outcome for everybody, and that's actually really there's somebody who recognizes this. Actually, they recognize this and they're appreciating you. Yeah, they appreciate the work that you're putting in to make this happen, because it's actually making it you're actually kind of paving the way for other people to have balance in their life at the same time. So what you're doing is kind of like helping other people in it, whether you realize it or not. Okay, let's see what's going on in some different areas of your life, and we will start with that one. Ooh. Okay, you've got the Devil. This is a cool Devil card. So you've got the Devil in the first house. So it does feel as though usually when the Devil comes up, it's a temptation of sorts, and it has to do with like feeling, you can feel as though something is overcoming you. You're feeling quite overcome or overwhelmed by something. It could be that you're overwhelmed by yeah, it could actually feel as though you're overwhelmed by expectations, or as though you're overwhelmed by usually it's like feeling as though something is keeping you sort of chained to where you are, and you can't progress as you'd like to progress, which is interesting given the Chariot. It's kind of like almost a direct contradiction to the Chariot card. So that's what you've got in your first house, which is basically what I equate to you personally right now. Everything that you're embodying right now is feeling as though you're kind of like chained to the spot. You can't progress in the way that you'd like to progress. You're feeling as though you're kind of indebted to something or to a situation, and you're feeling like as though it's you know, something that you're just overcome by this. But let's have a look and see if we can elaborate on that. Okay, so we've got the Ten of Wands. You actually have been really successful in endeavors in the past. So you're coming at this right now, where you are right now, is from a place of great you're coming at this right now from a place of you've put in, how can I explain it? You've put in a great deal of physical, emotional, and intellectual energy into a project, and it's resulted, you know, it's manifested for you, like it's manifested as a career and as an income, and as some material stability. And at the moment, you're kind of at the end of this particular cycle, and you're about to begin a new cycle in terms of where you've been putting your energy related to how you make your income, okay? So we'll just keep going here and build on this. So we're feeling a little bit stuck in this particular situation, even though the instinct is to drive ahead here and to create more balance. It definitely feels like there's more balance. Okay, yeah, so you've got the Death card here, and the Death card really means rebirth, which is really kind of echoing this card here, because tens are always the end of something and look with a view to the beginning of something else. So certainly you have finished a project. There is some project that has come to completion that directly relates to how you make your money or your material well-being, okay? And then with the Death card here, we're looking at a new beginning in relation to how you go about communicating to people on a day-to-day basis, so that we're looking here at how you talk to people in the workplace, how you talk to people like just your colleagues or whatnot. But it does suggest to me, like with the Devil here and the Death card as well, that there's some kind of real impulse right now for you to implement this change, for you to you're feeling quite, there is a sense that you're a little bit stuck and that you're a little bit overwhelmed, and there is certainly a desire to move ahead, because you can kind of sense that there must be something on the other side of this. That's what it feels like. Wow, okay, yeah, so you've got the Tower as well, and the Tower is definitely about new beginnings, because it's all about tearing down things that aren't serving you anymore. And usually these things that we're looking at are things that are built on some kind of like shallow foundations or some kind of shallow structure. So we're looking at that it's in the house of your family, like your family of your birth family, but we're also looking at your internal reality as well, and I think that that's more what this is to do with. So there's something about your internal your internal world right now that feels as though you need to change it up a little bit. And but you're feeling as though you kind of can't get that happening because you're kind of like stuck with, you know, that saying, the devil you know. So you're kind of stuck with, it feels like you're in this kind of rut with the devil you know, and there's this impulse in your world to want to transform that and to actually, because there is a recognition that you're aware that this is what's going on. So there is a recognition that you want to transform this, and it's actually quite a it feels as though within you internally it's quite an impulse to do this. And it wouldn't surprise me if the way that you're talking about things or your perspective around something or how you communicate with other people has changed. Ooh, yikes. Okay, so you've got the when I say yikes, it's not a bad yikes, it's just good. You've got the Hanged Man, which is looking at everything from a new perspective. You're going through some kind of radical transformation, it feels like. There's like a radical shift here. Okay. Now this guy is in the house of your children. I do feel as though it does relate to your children, actually. You're looking at these guys with a new perspective. You're making some kind of sacrifice in relation to your kids at the moment as well. And you're being forced to kind of like suspend kind of like, you know, suspend the status quo, I would say, in order to kind of accommodate what's going on with your kids at the moment, which makes sense. I think that's true for a lot of people right now. But also, this also relates to what I was talking about with how you're communicating as well. Does feel as though you're sort of like recognizing at the moment that how you communicate, how you express yourself, what you're doing in like your kind of your creative output, your expression, there has been a change around that. There's been a shift around that. Okay, so let's just kind of keep exploring this, because this is slowly building up to something quite interesting. Because you've got, like, with the exception of the 10, you've got some pretty heavy duty cards here. Just given they're all from like the majors. So let's have a little look-see. All right, you've got the Knave of Swords. So there is a sense that you want to explore a new pathway. You're even being made the offer to go down a new pathway, and it will actually have a really beneficial impact on your health and well-being. But the new pathway is definitely going to require you to change your thinking, to have a different viewpoint, to change your viewpoint almost. I think that's why we've got the Devil card here, because it really feels as though you're ready to kind of be released from some kind of shackle, but there's a little bit of hesitation to move forward because you're kind of comfortable where you're at in a way. You're sort of, there's some familiarity about the things that you're being called on to change. And I have to say that in everybody's readings that I've been doing lately, and I think that's just because of what's going on a global scale, and we are all interconnected, there's so much about, and it's also to do with the age of everybody that I've been working with, because we're all about the same age right now. But there is this like real theme of self-reflection and change at the moment amongst everybody, and your reading is very very in keeping with that, but yours is very, it's quite an intense experience of this. It feels like quite integral to who you are. So let's just keep going and see where this goes. Now, because you had the Justice card, I do feel as though this is really a whole of like a very holistic change for you. It's like related to you as an individual, but it's really related to all aspects of your life, and I can see that here in this reading so far. This change. Have to say though that you are recognized. What you're doing is being recognized. Okay, so anyway, I'll just get, oh, for fuck's sake, man, for fuck's sake. Let's go. Yeah, okay, the Three of Pentacles. All right, so you've got the Three of Pentacles over here. So yeah, it's obviously and this is in this, so your partner. Yeah, so there is a best way to put this. With your intimate, with your partner, your life partner, it is this kind of sense of, yeah, we're steadily moving ahead. Okay, we're just steadily going ahead. There's no, I don't really see this as having anything to do, to see this change as such as having anything to do with your partner. There's no sort of drama there. There's no kind of, I think that you're just working together to build this up. I do feel as though this reading has a lot to do with your work and your household though, like, and the balance there. And really your work in your household, but how that has, like, the impact that is having on you individually right now, and the kind of depths. I think you might actually be surprised with the depths of exploration that you are capable of going to personally, internally right now. I think this may actually kind of have taken you by surprise somewhat, and I think that's why we've got the Tower card down here in your, like, in your internal kind of dimension, because the Tower kind of like is showing us that things in your world internally certainly have kind of like dissolved a little bit, have the kind of foundation that you expected to be there within yourself has kind of dissolved a little bit, and it's showing some sort of cracks around the edges that perhaps you weren't expecting to emerge, but it's really just all part of this greater change that you've got going on. This I think this is really like an evolutionary change for you. And it's very interesting that it has to do with how you express yourself in a very fundamental way, okay? And in a way that can be quite exciting, because it's it is really like a new way for you to be. Yeah, definitely a shift in your thinking around this. Definitely a shift in your perspective around this. But yeah, your partner is there to kind of to help you along with this, to support you through this. Because your partner, the shift isn't really happening. This kind of experience, you're sharing a mutual experience. I can feel that, like in your household at the moment, but the shift I can't see that internal shift happening within him. It's happening inside of you, and he's just kind of there right now, helping things to just tick over, just to keep building up, and nothing's gonna kind of fall apart here. Everything's the money will keep coming in, and that's okay. All right. You do have the Queen of Pentacles up here in the 8th house, and where's she go? Yep. So you have the Queen of Pentacles there, and that shows me that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. To be patient with your finances at the moment, and just to nurture what you do have, just to be patient around that. You've worked hard to get to this point. Everything's not going to come crumbling down right now, so not to fret over that. There is certainly this is certainly a new cycle regarding your income and expenditure. This is a new cycle, but it's all you need to do is just be patient and ride this out. Okay, just be patient and ride this out. It will be okay. The focus for you right now is more about what's happening to you internally, and what you can learn from what's happening to you internally, regarding like how you're managing to keep the balance and to keep a rein on things without feeling as though you are being this is a good way to put it. Your focus is keeping a rein on things without feeling as though you're being oppressed by the situation. Oh, I like that. Okay, that works for me. Yep. All right, so we've got the Ace of Cups up here. Yeah, so certainly new beginnings in this experience. Yeah, is like a new experience for you. Whatever's going on right now is certainly a new experience for you. It might actually reveal some new, like how I was talking about how the way that you communicate might change a little bit, or the way that you basically the way that you communicate, or the way that you think about things might change, certainly. Also, like your kind of like more your emotional, you're at the beginning of this like new emotional realization, or this new emotional place as well. And this is going to be like quite a journey, actually. If you want to kind of like ride these emotions out, you don't need to get sucked in or drawn into the emotions. You can actually just observe the emotion for what it is. So there's this I don't know if you're into like mindfulness or whatnot, but how we have like the different aspects of the mind, of consciousness, and there's like the aspect of consciousness that is kind of like the watcher, and it's aware of what's going on in your mind without having to become involved in what's going on in your mind. So it feels like there's this part, the ego part of your mind. No, not the ego part. The watcher, the aspect outside of ego, is about to become aware, or about to be able to see or experience. Like, okay, so you are feeling. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Okay, so I'm feeling overwhelmed. All right, rather than immerse yourself in that, just kind of recognize, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Feel what it feels like, and then just let that go. Okay, or I'm feeling like a little bit anxious about this situation. Okay, recognize that you're feeling anxious about it. Like, divorce yourself from it. Let your body feel anxious, but you don't have to like buy into it and become part of it. Okay, that was a long way of explaining that, but I feel as though that has to do with like this kind of like emotional, this new emotional kind of reality that you're experiencing right now, and like the wisdom that you can gain from that, which is actually potentially has the or has the potential to kind of feed into this different way that you can actually look at how you're communicating and this different way of perceiving your internal reality and how you think about things, how you perceive the world around you, how you perceive your day-to-day activities, how you perceive your kids and all of that. So this is like a new thing, blah blah blah. I know what I'm saying. Okay, so we've got the 10 of Swords, which also confirms this. This is a really cool reading. It's really okay, so you got two tens here. You got the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords. Okay, so we've completed a cycle of activity that's built up our material reality. We've also completed a cycle of thought, a cycle of perspective, a cycle of mental clarity. Okay, and you're about to embark on a new one, which also relates to this one here and also this guy here. Okay, certainly you are in this state right now where you're just open to new ways of thinking and new ways of understanding things, and you're open to new mental, what's the word, I want to say stimulation, but new mental challenges as well. Like you're open to new mental challenges as well. So this actually could be like it could actually translate, it is in the house of your career. Okay, so this actually could translate overall into you being ready actually at work as well in your career to embark on something new in your career. Okay, a new challenge in your career. All right, or you actually might just be experiencing a new challenge in your career right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's a good challenge. Okay, it's a good challenge. It's supported by these guys here. It's not something that you need to be afraid of. It's not something that you need to try to stop from happening. Okay, just let this evolve. Sorry, I got distracted by the dog. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so we've got the 6. So yes, certainly I want you just to keep persevering with your just keep persevering at work. Just keep plodding away with that. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's supporting, we're supported here. All right, it's not something to panic about. I know that's easy to say in this current climate, but I want you just to persevere with that. It will just keep ticking over. It might change a little bit at the moment. Also, you have your support network. You draw on your support network if you're worrying about this. Okay, but also I just want you to look to how your kids are managing at the moment, because they can actually bring you a new perspective. Like just kind of like taking notice of what matters to them is going to inform you about some it's just going to give you like some gentle kind of reinforcement about what really matters, and it's going to take some of the pressure off this this change that you're feeling right now, because I know like given the cards that you've got around this, it does feel like pressing. Okay, it does feel like it does feel like that. But just check out what your kids are doing. Oh, how nice to end with. Okay, you got the Star. Well, this is like a really lovely big it's, even though you've got a lot of intensely transformative cards that are suggesting that you've got a lot of internal stuff going on at the moment, I really feel as though with this energy around you that that you're actually capable enough, stable enough, wise enough, and have enough kind of like or a feel around you that you actually have like quite a depth of wisdom to draw on, quite a it's like you have like kind of very very I don't know, I've just lost what I was saying, but you definitely have like your constitution is such that the change that is happening right now in these domains of your life is something that you are kind of like totally adept or totally kind of programmed to navigate this. I feel as though you have such a good sort of like karmic force around you that any kind of obstacles that you encounter right now, and I'm thinking work particularly, are not going to be devastating. I don't see that here at all. I do see that there is a frustration and some definite requirement to embrace some significant change. But yes. Oh, okay, so yeah. Okay, just yes. All right, so we've got the star up there. And the star is all about following your path, okay? Following your own light, following your pathway. Especially if you are offered some kind of new work, or if you are offered some kind of if you come up with some kind of new idea about what you're going to do with your work, listen to your intuition, okay? If you, and also, I feel like it's with work, yeah, listen to your intuition about this, because you're right about this. If it feels as though it's the way to go for you, yeah, go with it, because I feel as though this relates to this whole new perspective that you're seeing with things. Yeah, okay, even when I'm just fucking flipping cards out for you, they're all big cards. Okay, so strengths at the moment are the Hermit, all right? So this actual lockdown situation for you is, believe it or not, ideal, all right? You've got the Hermit here, and Hermit is all about, it's very complementary to the star, because it's all about lighting your own path, finding your own way in the dark, trusting yourself. So together these cards, okay, we're looking at taking some time out from the hustle and bustle of life, taking some time out from the usual, you know, what we do on a daily basis ordinarily, taking time away to do some self-reflection and to get back in touch with yourself, get back in touch with nature and the natural cycles of life as well. Like, you know, just get back in touch with the natural cycle of what it is like to be inside of your body, operating in the world. Yeah, take that time out, and you'll come out of this with such wisdom about yourself and about, you know, the ups and downs of life and the cycles of life as well. But you have an advantage because you are kind of more capable than other people to weather this storm almost. You're more capable than other people because you already are starting off with such an evolved kind of understanding of how things are, and you're kind of operating on a different level to a lot of people. That's what it feels like. So when you hear your intuition call to you, listen to it and take it on board, okay? You will be facing this new kind of like pathway that's going to be some kind of mental challenge to you, and that mental challenge is actually going to be beneficial in the long run, okay? The mental challenge, it does relate to your career. I want you to kind of like consider when this comes to you, when you have an awareness around what this is, I want you to consider this impulse to communicate differently and to communicate from a different perspective, and it may feel as though you're sacrificing something in order to gain something else, but the thing is right now that the only conflict is the conflict that you're imposing on yourself, okay? You're actually holding yourself back in some respect, and that's the only conflict that you have right now. It's really not what's going on out there, if that makes sense. So your strengths right now are that you are being given this time to actually contemplate what matters to you, contemplate your future, contemplate how you got here and what you have in particular. And I really want you to look to your kids around this, because your kids are kind of modeling this for you at the moment, and your partner just there, just doing the thing, just being like solid person for you to chill with, just having a drink. Obstacles. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God, oh my God. Let's settle the hell down. Just be patient, all right? Be patient. Nurture this experience. Nurture what you have. Like, nurture your finances, all right? Just nurture what you have. It'll grow again, all right? Just be patient with that. All right, obstacles. What do we got? The 9. Yeah, okay. Well, that's interesting. So the only obstacle that you've got here really is your own mind. And if you choose to look at this right now as a challenge that's detracting from you, rather than a challenge that could help you grow, okay? That's really the only obstacle. If you are prone to kind of like reflecting on the past, or being sort of like looking, or if you're prone to habitual ways of thinking, or habitual ways of doing things or expressing yourself, or habitual viewpoints, that could be a little bit of a challenge for you right now, because you are really in this zone where you're really in this zone right now where this is all about new viewpoints, new perspectives, new rather than seeing these things as a challenge designed to set you backwards, as a challenge to set you on a yeah, okay, that's why this Chariot makes sense as well. Rather than seeing this as a challenge to hold you back, realize that this kind of thing is something that you can actually harness to drive ahead. to pave a way for you in the future. Yeah, that's cool. All right, and opportunities to look out for are new ideas. All right, new creative ideas. Okay, if somebody comes to you with a proposition that kind of feels like, okay, this could be different, this could be a change, this could like be exciting, yeah, think about it, take it on board. Like, it's not going to hurt, you know. This is what this period for you is all about. It's all about expanding awarenesses, expanding perception, expanding and evolving, and sort of shutting down old systematic ways of thinking, and being chained to these old ways of thinking, and to learn and to trust yourself, actually, really, and to get more in touch with yourself as well, to get in touch with your intuition, I feel, to get in touch with like your higher self, because you're very astute. You're very astute. Yes, very astute. All right, let's have a quick breakdown of the year ahead, because why not? Oh, holy shit. All right, here we got one. All right, you got the Magician for April. The Magician in April, this month. All right, so this month I just want you to be aware of, take a personal inventory, okay? Think about all the skills that you have. Think about your everything that you know, everything that you've learned, everything that you can bring to a situation. Your, not just the skills that you've acquired through being employed, but the skills that you have developed just from interacting with people, just from being a parent, being a partner, your interpersonal skills, your emotional intelligence, or, you know, the whole package, you as a whole package. I want you to take a personal inventory this month and just think about, to move. Just think about everything that you have to offer to a situation, and to everything that you have to offer to the world as a whole, and how this can actually influence, you know, help you kind of break these bonds of feeling that, you know, these bonds of feeling constrained by this situation. So, you know, sit down and write, like, you know, I'm so grateful for, you know, I'm grateful for my XYZ. I'm grateful for my XYZ. And at the same time, I want you to write down your fears. So I fear, and then just whatever comes to mind, and just keep writing until, you know, you can't write anymore, you know, and do this every day for maybe just for the rest of April, you know. So I do, you know, just do your fears. So I fear losing my house. I fear losing my money. I fear losing my job. I fear losing control. I fear not having the same, like, you know, losing my routine. I fear and then kind of identify the things that you're sort of what's the word, the things that you're sort of belligerent about, or the things that you're pissed off about. So, but then be grateful for it. So be like, I'm grateful that I envy my neighbors, or I'm grateful that I XYZ, you know. Just take this personal inventory, and then, like, once it's kind of out on paper and out of you, it's actually quite it's quite liberating, but also it's like some kind of psycho, I don't know, there's some kind of like physical, psychological thing that happens where it's kind of like, I don't know what happens in maybe your amygdala, and then it comes to the like frontal lobes or something, or up to the cortex and it's released or something. I don't know. But anyway, that was a tangent. But yeah, so anyway, take a personal inventory in April. Be aware of who you are, what you have to offer the world, all your skills, the ones that you've developed, the ones that you were born with. be aware of those, because they're going to come into play over the next year, okay? May. Where you came? May. All right. That's nice. You've got the Knight of Wands. So in May, you're going to be drawing on some resources around you to move ahead in some direction. Probably to do with your job or work, or your finances. Make some kind of financial decision. But you're resourced to do this. You have support from around you, but also the support of all these internal skills, okay? So that's why it's important for you to just kind of be doing this personal inventory in April, because I think it's going to be important for you as you go through this change for the rest of the year. May, June. And it's going to be quite an urge. It'll be hard not to do this in May. It'll be hard to resist this. So just be aware of what that is. It might be some kind of journey, which I know we're not supposed to do right now, but it'll be hard to resist it. April, May, June. Yeah. You've got another night, so you've got 2 nights here. So definitely be doing this inventory, because it feels like even if you're being asked to either travel for work or do some kind of new work or something to do with like getting ready to do this little journey over the next few months. It might be a metaphorical journey. But it's going to involve your, it feels like it's something that you're kind of passionate about. It's going to evoke your, like, quite an emotional kind of response in you. And again, it's going to rely on your instincts, okay? So I'm really trying to get comfortable. It's going to draw on your instincts as well. So I want you to try and take some time out in the next for the rest of this month to do this reflecting, okay? To do this like I don't know if you do journaling or whatnot, but just to even like notice key words that come up in your mind, or notice how you respond to situations, or notice like your default kind of response to situations, and kind of give that a little bit of consideration. Like, why is that my default answer? Why is that my go-to kind of response, you know? Is that working for me anymore, kind of thing? Because yeah, over the next few months, feels like you're really going to be drawing on your resources to get ahead, okay? You're going to be drawing on your resources to get ahead somehow. Yeah, but they're there, all right? The resources are there, okay? All right, let's go. April, May, June, July. So by July, 2. All right. In July, we've got your partner is going to be really helpful for you. You're going to rely on him quite a lot. He's going to be there for you. Step up to the plate. Don't worry about that. You may actually experience like a choice around something, some kind of choice some option that's going to be presented to you that could have to do with your work-life balance, actually. There's going to be some kind of option there. Again, you're going to feel quite, it's going to like really touch you like quite deeply. You're going to feel quite attached to this, to the outcome of this as well. And yeah, I do think it relates also to this this kind of like reconfiguration of your internal walls, yeah, your internal kind of boundaries, the boundaries Yeah, this is like a real boundary kind of pushing little journey that you're going on. July, August. So by August, you've got the 6 of Swords. So yes, you'll be persevering. It's interesting that's on the axis with the other 6. So this is to do with your kids and your relationships with your friends, your support networks and your creativity and your collaboration. Okay, yeah, okay, collaborating, yeah. Okay, collaborating. Persevere with this. There's going to be August, there'll be an opportunity to, let me just figure this out. It might actually be to do with this little journey that you're taking. This opportunity, this kind of like feels like, I just really want to say that you could actually find someone in your social network who's going to help you manage your kids at this point, who's going to kind of step up for you to give you a hand with that. So just persevere with that aspect of things. You'll get there with that. It's obviously important, and I think this has to do with like this need to kind of like really just acknowledge, yeah, just kind of like acknowledge what's going on with your kids. But I feel like they're actually quite resilient and being quite they're kind of giving you signs and signals that they're kind of cool with things. Okay, don't be afraid of changing things up a little bit because you're afraid of their response, or whether they'll manage with this. You might be in for some kind of move, man. Like an actual move, like a house move here sometime this year. I don't know if that's on the cards, but that actually just was put into my mind. Okay, anyway, I don't know how you feel about that. Could be good. September. September. 4 of Cups. Okay, so now the cups come out. Cups are coming out. All right. Oh, yep. So they're just showing me that you're good. Like your relationship at home, your kids, your family, your day-to-day is stable. All right, stable. They're providing you a complete like emotional platform to ground yourself on. If you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by what's going on internally with you and all this kind of like this feeling of change but wanting to hold on, but recognizing that change is occurring, they're actually a really good anchor for your mind, your heart. Yeah, so what was that? September, July, August, September. So yeah, by September it feels as though you're going to be drawing on those that network, that kind of foundation, probably of your marriage, your kids, all of that, just to kind of give you some more grounding. Okay, this might all be a bit overwhelming by then. I'm sure it will be. So yeah, that's kind of the theme for that month. Oh, all right. Yeah, okay, well that's interesting. So you've got to change up. You got the 5 of Cups. All right, so this year, all right, so what do we got? Why have we got so many cups this year? 5 of Cups. So that means there is a change. So September, October is going to be all about the focus there is all about this change up in your foundations. I'm going to just keep going because I'm stuck on a little bit of a theme and I just don't want to fuck off. It's not, you're not there. Oh, okay, you are. 5, another 5. Okay, change. So we've gone from July. All right. In July, there's this opportunity that comes kind of a choice here, but also a union, so it's nice. There's support around this. Just being persistent in some kind of way. Drawing on your foundations to give you some kind of emotional stability and emotional support, emotional strength, to kind of shore up your sense of well-being, to give you some kind of reassurance that everything's going to be okay. And then we're going to change that up a little bit. And there's going to be a little bit of a tussle, a little bit of a change, but it's not a dramatic change. It's just really incremental. September, October, just a little incremental change, and then November again, and it's kind of like a mental, emotional sort of change that's going on. And there's going to be, it might feel a little bit, things might feel a little bit in flux, as though your foundations are kind of a little bit shaky. This is not to do with your relationship. This is just to do with how you're feeling about the situation, in what's going on overall in your life. Yeah, so let's just keep going. I feel like you could be asked to move for work, you or your partner, or just move, your work moves, or you move to a new work. Oh, okay, what's that? The Queen of Wands. All right, so July, August, September, October, November. So December. All right, December. We just want to, again, just be patient with the situation. Be patient with the activity that's going on around you. It does feel as though, because there's all this kind of change that's happening, even beginning like next month, like there's this movement, okay, quite a lot of movement around going on here. And then the movement kind of like takes direction by July, like with the introduction of this kind of like options. You've got some options, okay? And then like being required to kind of like just remember that the kids are cool with everything, they're okay. And then kind of like just remembering that you've got solid foundations to draw on, everything's cool. Yeah, okay. And then here comes like another kind of incremental change. What's happening up here is like this kind of urge to kind of like get it underway kind of quickly, and it actually might come quite quickly into your life from outside sources, this influence that you're going to then kind of be required to like harvest your resources and put those into play. This kind of change has more to do with like an attitudinal change around things, because you're going to be feeling and thinking in ways, again, like the whole theme of this kind of thing is thinking and feeling in ways that are kind of a little bit foreign or alien, or just kind of a little bit outside the box, but that's kind of what's coming to play. And then by December it's going to be okay, all right, you're going to have to find your center again, and just kind of like take deep breaths, move through this, just focus, concentrate, like draw down into yourself again. And yeah, just be patient, nurture yourself, okay? Give yourself some time out if that's what you need by December, after the year that you're having. January next year. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, by the way, because you have a really nice energy to be inside of. Okay, you've got the 9 of... look at all this. All right. I don't know if you're like a sentimental person, or if you're prone to melancholy, or if you're sort of like attached to history or to the past. But I think that's this change this year is going to kind of ignite those sorts of feelings in you. This kind of like, you know, just that kind of wistful thoughts of days before, that kind of thing. So by January next year, you're going to be quite reflective on the journey that you've had this year, but in a good way. All right, I feel as though all this kind of wisdom making activity that's going on here is kind of like bringing out, or bringing you kind of into this deeper kind of central part of yourself. But also, I don't know what I'm talking about, but by January it's really feeling as though you're going to just kind of be reflecting on that year that was, and the things that you've kind of gone through, these changes, and I hope that you're reflecting on it in a way that you recognize the work that you've put into this, because it could be quite profound if you allow it to be. La 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 la. January. Okay, so February. All right, what do we got for February, guys? Ooh. February. The 8 of Swords and the 3 of Cups for February. All right, so yeah, all right, so if you can sort of like get on board with this new way of thinking by February next year, so it's, you know, just what, 10 months or so, you're going to have kind of gone through the learning process with this new way of thinking, or this mental challenge kind of thing that you're going through, and you're going to actually be able to use that to create this new sense of emotional stability, or this new kind of like newfound kind of passion for something that you can start building up then. Okay, so that's February next year. So yeah, things will sort of like start to, by January next year, definitely things are kind of going to start to even out again. You're kind of like starting to see some results internally, like you'll be feeling more as though this whole situation has become more integrated into you. And then by February next year, you're going to mentally feel a lot more, you'll have a lot more clarity about what has all transpired around this little journey that you've been going on. And it's just a nice opportunity to appreciate this, the work that you've put in. And then March next year, I don't know if you want another child, but February next year as well would be a time. And then March next year, we've got the 7 of Pentacles. I feel as though March next year, going to start seeing some results, financial results from all this that's been going on as well, okay? Sorry, I had to have a drink. March next year, seeing some financial results, seeing some successes again in your material domain start to build up again. Although I really don't feel as though you're going to take a massive hit financially this year. I don't think it's going to be... Oh, dog, hey, get out of it. I don't think it's going to be a dramatic thing. This all seems to be more focused on your personal evolution and the way that you are going to manage yourself and your outlook and your kind of entrenched beliefs, habits, even to do with your mental habits this year. So during the year, our strengths, to build on our strengths already during the year. Yeah. What we got? What's going on? We got the moon. Okay, all right. So, get it? Yeah, dude, you've got it all going on this year, all right? So the strengths, we've got the moon and the hermit, okay? And both of these cards are really complementary to one another. It's all about like just delving, like taking a deep dive into yourself, into your psyche, getting back in touch with yourself and getting to know yourself again, looking at the flip side, looking at two sides of the situation, and not being kind of attached to any one outcome, because everything is cyclical. So just remembering that, like, with after the feast there's the famine, after the famine there's the feast, okay? Just remembering those cycles and just kind of like really integrating this kind of wisdom into yourself. That's what it feels like is going on for you this year. And definitely getting in touch with your intuition and trusting your intuition, particularly regarding this opportunity. It feels like it's coming up for you to either to this kind of movement opportunity, whether or not it's an actual move, like a moving house, moving to a new job, moving to a new job location, or it's just more of like this massive kind of mental shift around things. It could actually be like a new study, going to study or something like that as well, if you're interested in doing study, if that's been calling out to you, like upskilling or doing some kind of different study to totally shift your work. Can you move? Please, go away. Yeah, that's... Trust your intuition around that, okay? If you want to do that and it feels as though that's right for you, go ahead, okay? The kids are right. The kids are okay. Obstacles. Obstacles. What's that? The Queen of Wands. Okay, how's she an obstacle? Oh, okay, yeah. If you're feeling like, you know, how will the kids cope, that kind of thing, they'll be fine. They're cool. They're fine. All right. Don't let that stop you from doing what you want to do. And opportunities. We've already got this like opportunity for new ideas, opportunities. Yeah. To oh, okay. Reflecting on action. All right. So yeah, definitely take the time out, take any opportunity you can take to think back to how you did things in the past, and how, whether or not that's the way that you want things to go in the future, whether those things, like whether those ways of behaving are things that you want to be part of your future, or whether you could possibly leave some things behind and change it up a little bit, okay? Because absolutely for you, this year is 100% about this contrast with feeling personally chained to a situation, feeling like that you don't have any control over that, and recognizing that you actually you are the one actually reining things in, and you are the one who can actually like let loose a little bit on the reins, okay? It's all within your power to do either of those things. So if you're feeling as though you're being constrained or oppressed by situations that are not allowing you to progress in a meaningful or satisfying way, that allow you to have recognition in some way, you're kind of the one who is actually in control of that right now, okay? And all it's going to take for you is just to implement greater kind of balance in your life between all the different elements of your life, because you do have opportunities, I feel, that are coming up for you this year that could actually be quite life-changing in if you allow yourself to kind of have the freedom of thought and the freedom of expression and the faith in your intuition to go ahead with those. All right, I think that is it. Sorry about the dog. And namaste. Remember I said if you have any questions, just get in touch, okay? All right, take care. Bye.